Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Redmen TV and your latest episode of Expert Insight. My name is Dan Clubb. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Fiorentina journalist Andrea Giannattsio. How are you doing? You okay?
Ciao. Ciao. Hello. I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no, our pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. As I mentioned, Fiorentina journalist, which means we're here to talk about Federico Chiesa, but from his time at your wonderful football club. So let's start, Andrea. I mean, he started off at Fiorentina very young, obviously in the academy there. He was a teenager, really, when he started playing for the under-19s, the Primavera, I think they call it over there. What were your first impressions? Do you remember seeing Chiesa for the first time?
Well, I remember Federico very young because I usually follow the youth sector of Fiorentina, not only in this year but also in the past years. So I remember perfectly Chiesa when he was a child, when he was a guy, and I remember perfectly when in 2016 he made his debut on the professionals. He made the pre-season with the first team, and that's obvious because every season, every summer, a coach use young players with the first team. But for us, it was a very big surprise when in the first match of Serie A, and it was a very tough match because Fiorentina made this debut against Juventus in Turin. In the starting 11, there was the name of Federico Chiesa. So for us, it was a big surprise, but I think that from that day, he grew up immediately. He showed all his potential from the first match, and I think that he deserved a new adventure like the new challenge in Liverpool, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it must be exciting to see somebody that you've seen so young go on to make the career that he has, of course, and now this step to Liverpool. You said a new adventure, a new challenge for him. Could you always tell back in 2016, when his early days of his career, could you always tell he was destined for something really special? Could you tell he had the talent, the ability to be one of the best players in world football, if you like?
Well, Chiesa has a very important surname because his father Enrico was one of the best players in Serie A in the last of 90, and I think that he was destined to have a big career as a football player. If I have to be honest, I followed Federico when I was not only in the under 19 or under 18 youth sector, but also before. And I think that is not a news so common. But when he was very young, he was very close to stop to playing football because he was not physically developed. He has some problems. Very often he was not in the starting 11, so he was considering the possibility to stop to playing football, but. He had an incredible development when he was 17 years old. And, well, when he was in the under 19, that is the last level before the professional debut, he grew up immediately and he made this debut with the first team. And as I told you before, he showed all his potential immediately, quickly. And at the time, Fiorentina was a very strong team. The 2 years before played the semi-final of Europe League. The coach was Paulo Sousa. It was a very strong team, Fiorentina at the time. So for him, it was not so easy to have space in a such of team. But he made good matches, he scored some goals, and he had all the space he deserved.
No, absolutely. Yeah, he's a prestigious talent. There's no two ways about that. You've just said that you watched a lot of him at under 18s, under 19s. Could back then, what was it about him that made him stand out? What was it about his ability on the ball and his technical aspects that made him special? And I guess you've said already, he realised his potential. Why him? I guess could we see loads of kids, loads of brilliantly talented footballers? What makes him able to take that step to the next level?
Well, he's first of all, he's a very smart guy. He's very clever, so he understands very well what all the coaches he had asked to him for the kind of football Fiorentina was playing in that seasons. And well, his characteristics his skills are very famous because he's very fast, he's snappy, he can play as a left wing or right wing. Probably left wing is the best position. And obviously he has a very important characteristic that other teammates and in his role don't have. Obviously he score. He's not probably a top scorer, but he scores some goals. And from the first season with professional in the professionals, he start to score goals important, and from that time he improved very quickly and become a very strong player for Fiorentina.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Can you remember, obviously, watching him in the academy and stuff like that? Can you remember any moments or any matches or any coaches speaking about him? And could you sort of tell back then, like I said earlier, did you realise how brilliant this youngster was and could be?
Well, I try to say a thing that Federico told me some years ago. I want to be. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Federico Chiesa made his debut with professional in 2016, but after 2 or 3 matches, he started again to play with under 19 with the youth sector, and in that moment he came back with the young players with the youth sector. With the right mentality. He considered himself not ready probably to stay in Serie A, and with this mentality he made good performances with under 19. He scored a lot of goals, and after 3 or 4 weeks again he was called with the first team, and from that moment he was in the starting 11 every Sunday.